I know it's been a while, but here I am. I'm finally back, and hopefully this time it's for good. We'll see. I'm gonna try to be as committed and as I can. So let's see how that goes. For anybody who doesn't know, my name is Joanna. I am 24. I just had a birthday in July 7th. Cancers were cool. Um, But yeah, my name is Joanna. I am attempting to have a YouTube channel, and let's see how that goes. And so I'm a student in school right now, and I've always been interested in like being a therapist. So I'm going to school for social work, and I have always been interested in giving advice, getting questions from friends, trying to help them through their issues and whatnot. So that landed me in this career field. And so I thought it'd be kind of cool to base a YouTube channel around giving and getting advice, just talking like this. I'm not a fancy editor. Hopefully that will come with time, but I don't have those editing skills, so bear with me. We're just gonna sit here and have a conversation and hope it turns out okay. Um, but anyways, today I thought it'd be cool to talk about like the topic that revolves around compulsory heterosexuality and the fact that growing up in a hetero society for the most part, it's very hard to find out who you are as a person, whether you are a lesbian or not. I don't know, but if you're struggling to come out or like wondering why you maybe took a while to figure out that you're a lesbian, that's what this topic is basically about. I watched this YouTuber. Her name is Alayna Joy, and she actually had a really interesting point in one of her videos that I watched not that long ago. And this is something that she said. She said, the thought of confirming I was into dudes never crossed my mind. Being into men was just a given. So, let's talk about that. Um, well, whenever it comes down to it, it is true. Whenever you are growing up, if you're growing up as a woman, she, her, my pronouns, so I grew up like feeling like a girl. I've always been a girl. I've never questioned that. But something else that I never questioned was whether I was into guys, because that's just a given, you know? Like, I didn't have a lot of representation around lesbians. I just didn't, like, whenever you are growing up, your parents, unless they talk to you about, oh, you may have like interests in different people, it may not always be a guy, and that's okay. I didn't really have that. Like, I mean, my mom has always been really super supportive of everything. I mean, she's from the Netherlands, and she has always grown up with accepting and being accepting of X, Y, and Z, really, because however you want to live is however you want to live, and that's where she comes from. But my dad, he's from Arkansas, and that's not like the most accepting thing in Arkansas is to be gay. Like, it's just not really you know approved of over there. But that makes sense as far as like the history and everything like that. But that's a whole different topic. Um, but whenever it comes down to it, like people always seem so shocked whenever they find out that I didn't come out until I was almost 20 years old. And they're like, how could you have just not known? And the thing is that like I'm sure on some sort of level I knew, but I didn't have a reason to question it, because every time like I thought that I was like attracted to guys. I think I was more so attracted to their style and wanting to be like guys rather than having like an attraction physically and sexually, And it was really hard to differentiate the two, I think, to have like an attraction because aesthetically they look good, like, and I'm not gonna lie, like I was in a relationship with a guy for 3 years, and like throughout our relationship, I was always trying to like dress like him. I was trying to like adopt different things that he did and make it my own. And I didn't really ever see that as like something to question. And so, honestly, like a lot of people are curious as to where like the questioning comes from. And the thing is that like I think that whenever I was in a relationship with this guy for 3 years, that I was questioning it, but just wasn't aware of those signs, you know? And so, like, the guy that I dated, sorry, this is a little complicated. It's not like you guys know these people, but I'm going to try to explain it in as much detail as I can. Um, but the guy that I dated, he has a cousin, and she was like exactly the same as him. They were pretty much the same person, just one was a guy and one was a girl. And it seemed as if like I was doing past behaviors with like really close girlfriends that I had all throughout growing up that I didn't realize I was doing in this relationship with this guy. I was always wanting to hang out with her. Like, I realized that I wanted to be pretty much her best friend within this relationship with the guy that I was dating, because they, like I said, they were basically the same person, and I thought that I liked the guy I was dating, but in reality, I was attracted to his cousin, and she was exactly the same as him, which is why I would always try to spend time with her. I was always trying to hang out with her, and I would just play it off like, oh, we're just really close friends, you know? But fast forward like a year, and then it would make more sense. But actually, let's do that. Let's fast forward a little bit. Um, when I got out of that 3 year long relationship, what happened was I basically got like a rebound guy, whatever. It was this guy that I had known like since elementary school, and we just crossed paths somehow and ended up dating for a couple of months, you know. And this is actually a pretty funny story because I was dating this guy, and I obviously like got to know his friends and stuff, and throughout getting to know his friends, he told me about one of his friends who had been in a really serious relationship with this woman, and he like thought they were going to get married, whatever. But the girl that he was dating, she came to the realization that she was gay, and she broke up with my boyfriend's friend at the time, and she went on to get married to a woman, and now they're happily together and all that sort of stuff. So I was kind of foreshadowing because my boyfriend at the time was telling me this story that happened with his friend, but meanwhile, the same exact thing was about to happen to him. I mean, it's not like we were about to get married or anything, but I did catch myself having feelings for one of my boyfriend's friends, which was a female. And it was another reason as to why I had to question everything. And that was like the first time. I mean, like, I know that I've talked about this girl from First Watch that really made me realize, because as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, she's hot. And so I really had to like question it then. But whenever I was dating this guy, it was before I realized I was gay. And well, obviously. And so um I had a crush on his friend, and I was realizing that I was like really jealous of her and like all these things that I had no reason to be jealous of her for or anything. I think it was more so just the fact that, you know, I wanted to be close to her, but like didn't really know how to do that while I was dating her friend and like all this sort of stuff. So it can just be really, really complicated because if you're like I was, I like I said, didn't have to question my sexuality in high school because the opportunity never presented itself. Like, I was never put in a situation where I had to be like, oh, I don't like guys, so maybe I like girls. You know, like, I was head over heels for pretty much most guys that I dated in high school. But the thing is that like that what's it called? I don't know, that attraction, that like obsession or whatever, whenever I would be dating a guy, it would literally last for like a week or two. And then I would break up with the guy. And like, I never really knew why that was like my dating pattern. My sister used to say that I had like a flavor of the week or whatever. And at the time, like I just assumed like, I just don't know what I want or whatever in a guy, but the whole time whenever I was being intimate with guys and I was being sexually active, I didn't enjoy it. I always told my mom that I really genuinely thought I was asexual because I just didn't have a physical response whenever we were intimate, like, and it's nothing about not having the right guy or anything like that, because I've been with a few guys, I've experienced different things, and then whenever I finally had the realization that, maybe all these things that are a little bit of clues that have been left in my life, maybe I should explore that a little bit more. And so I finally did, and it made all the sense in the world then, because it it's what fit, and after that, like, I really didn't have to question it anymore, because my body, one, had a physical response whenever I was intimate with women that I didn't have with men. And so I think that that's just like a very hard thing to overcome or realize in your own life, because it really is just like smacks you in the face, because you just all for dating guys one day, and then like all of a sudden, and it can happen for anybody at any time, to have this realization, or just even like the slightest little inkling of, oh, this this could mean something else, or maybe I just am not into guys, and it could have been very well that I was asexual, it could have been that, or demisexual, and it just turned out that I wasn't, I think that it's put so much, like, not unexpected pressure, but like just the obvious answer is you should be with guys. So if you're starting out at that, like starting whenever you're young and you're interested in, your body is starting to change and you're having all these different fluctuating hormones and stuff like that. And if you're not presented with the fact that, hey, it's okay to question whether I'm into guys and girls, like it shouldn't just be a given that I should be with a guy as soon as I'm at the age to start dating and being sexually active. Like that's just, if it probably would have saved me a whole lot of time and effort, and like, time in a relationship, time for a guy that I was with for 3 years that he could have had back, I mean, it's not like I regret the relationship or anything, I'm a better person for it, but still, like, if I had even just been presented with the idea that, hey, it's not just guys out here, if you're born a woman, you can have experiences with females and it not be weird. And I think that that was just the thing that I was missing whenever I was younger, because I had a bunch, well, not a bunch, I had like one really close girlfriend at a time, and I would do everything with this girl. Like, I just made really, really close connections and I did not let go. Like, I had a friend that I was friends with from literally like preschool all the way up until high school, and we were best friends. And then I had another best friend from like middle school to the middle of high school or something, and we were best friends. And I would get jealous anytime that they would spend time with other girls, and then I wouldn't have all of their attention. And so, probably meant something way back whenever I had no idea what those little, things would mean in my everyday life. But obviously if I had been presented, and I mean, maybe it's not obvious. Maybe I wouldn't have gone straight for girls or something if I had been presented with the idea that was like the norm. But I think that it would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of other people's times and a lot of heartache, because whenever I was done with a guy, I didn't really care. I had broken up with guys over text messages, through an email. That was the worst of them all. Never do that. Don't break up with a guy through an email. Personal experience. Don't do it. um, but yeah, I don't know. I just thought that that was a really interesting topic to talk about, and I think that if we all work on ourselves and the fact that, there doesn't have to be the societal norm that we're just destined to end up with a guy, or if I was a man, that I'm just destined to end up with a woman, because that's not reality. And if you treat every single child like that, then they're gonna have to always go through this phase. Well, not phase, because if you're gay, then it's not a phase, but you always have to go through this period of time where you are exploring and you don't really know what the right things are to explore, because it's not normal and you're made to feel different or weird, or people are not always the most accepting of homosexual relationships, so it's not it's not like it's that hard to tell your kid that it's okay to have thoughts and feelings about the same gender. Like, it's just a simple conversation. Kids are very, like, they're like a sponge. They'll absorb the information, and because they don't have any societal, like, projections about what dating should be like, then it's not that weird of a conversation to have with a kid, because they're a lot more open to different ideas and different thoughts, because their brain and their ideas haven't been formed yet. They are very impressionable and need guidance. So if we're not giving that guidance in the first place, then here we are years and years and years later, feeling like, wow, so much time was wasted, or wow, I could have figured out that I was gay before this if I had even just like the exposure to it in the first place. And that's all that's important here, I think, is just the exposure, being able to give the kids the opportunity to make their own decisions, and then not like being upset with them for making those decisions, because if we just present the options in the first place, then it would really just be really helpful, I believe. So I know that it's a struggle, and I know that people are probably out here wondering why they are continuously in relationships with guys and don't actually have like a physical attraction to them and aren't satisfied sexually, and that's okay. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. It may take a very long time, or it may just be a super quick like thing where you're just, hey, I'm gay, and you know that from the very beginning. But not everybody experiences that, and it's just important to be open and care about the people around you and the fact that they just want to be happy. Like, to not know who you are can be so isolating and so confusing, and it's depressing, honestly, truly. And if you can take that pressure, or at least subside that pressure from your loved ones, then why wouldn't you want to do that, So that's a little bit of food for thought. I'm sorry this is so much longer than I expected it to be, but yeah. If you guys have any questions, any topics you want me to talk about, just let me know in the comments below. Um, yeah, you can find me here once a week. What day, I'm not sure yet, but other than that, have a great day, guys. Bye.